Welcome back, my beautiful people. It has been way too long since I filmed a solo episode, and I am so excited for today because I'm feeling very clear minded, just very open, very much receiving all of the things because I took a full week off of social media, and I haven't done that literally ever. I haven't done that in a very long time, and now my job is to be on social media. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love social media, and I think it is an incredible tool, but it's just in how you use it. But in saying that, I could feel myself starting to burn out. I could feel myself starting to burn out in multiple ways. And just, I wasn't realizing how many things that I was consuming each day without even realizing. It just became an automatic thing for me, as well as posting on it as well. It's so easy to just go over and just start scrolling. And we don't realize that that adds up and it can really wear on your mental well being and just your overall mental health too. Like, I could just tell that I wasn't feeling the greatest, and I just feel like I wasn't showing up as just authentically as I wanted to because I was feeling like I was burning out. And I wanted to record this episode today because I think that this could help so many other people out there because our world is just designed for consumption. And we don't realize how many things that we're consuming each day. And it doesn't help that we have this little device in our pockets and at our fingertips 24/7 to distract us. And they basically make money off of us because we're staying on the app longer. Like, that's literally how they make money. And so it can be really easy to fall into that trap of scrolling for 3 hours and you don't even realize time is passing by. And with that, it's also just a dopamine trap. I realized my dopamine was just maxed out. And I realized the importance of getting natural dopamine and not dopamine from technology or excess stimuli. And that was something that I didn't realize until I got off my phone. I had no idea that I was just completely maxed out and at capacity. And I feel like I do a pretty good job by not being on my phone, but there are times where it is just way too easy to go over and to scroll or to see something that you're interested in. Like, oh, this is enticing. And so I just feel like so many people could benefit from this. I felt really just overstimulated by social media, and I could see that in my daily life, like going for a walk. I could just see my mind just kind of running and running and running, and I just would have all these thoughts. And because the phone like trains your brain to constantly be consuming things. And so when you are just going for a walk without your phone, your mind is like, okay, why aren't we consuming things? Like, let's start manufacturing things in our mind because we're so used to consumption. And so it can get really difficult just being able to sit in stillness and be with your thoughts. And I was realizing that about myself. I also was struggling a lot with comparison, comparing my life to other people on social media. And I think this is something that a lot of other people struggle with as well. And if you compare yourself to other people, you are not alone at all in this sense. And I was comparing my timeline to other people's, and it was making me feel like I was falling behind in life. It was like, oh, I'm not doing enough things to be far along, and it's just like I'm in my 20s, and why do I feel like I'm falling behind so much? It's because we're constantly comparing ourselves to other people's lives on the internet. We know what someone just had for breakfast the other day. We know when someone's getting married, when they're having children. And so it's so easy to compare yourself to other people. And I think that's the trap of social media. There's so much excess noise and just so much stimuli that you're consuming constantly. You know about so many other people's lives that you're barely even living your own. you're barely living your own life because we're too busy spending our lives watching other people's. And this can lead to some really dark times. And it's led to some pretty dark times for me as well. And it's made me procrastinate with certain things in my life because I just felt like, you know what, I would just much rather watch someone else instead of actively doing the thing. And it took me a long time to actually do that. Also, just a lot of fear would consume me as well. I would be very fearful of, like, oh, what would people think once I start posting on social media and I start sharing my message with the world. And in the beginning, it was really, really hard for me. But as time went on and I just kept practicing and kept being more consistent and kept showing up, it got so much easier. But it is not easy because there are a lot of people out there that will say that your opinion is wrong, and just say like the most outlandish things, and that's okay. Like, people are allowed to have their own opinions, but it can be very hurtful of what people say on social media. And a lot of people can just say things anonymously, and so you have no idea who they are. They're just coming to leave a hate comment on your page, and that just isn't okay either. And I think that's why a lot of people are scared of posting on social media, just for the fact that, oh, what are other people going to think of me? And I was in that for a very long time, and I still struggle with that, quite honestly. I just that is something that still bothers me. And I also didn't realize how disconnected I was from my body when I'm consuming social media constantly. We don't realize that we're not listening to our body's needs because we're listening to what other people are saying. Oh, eat this, and you have this many meals a day and this many snacks, and you need to do this and you need to do that. There's so much you need to do, instead of, no, you need to listen to your body. And to listen to your body means you have to get quiet. You got to get really, really quiet. And that can be kind of scary because in the quiet, it can lead you to some thoughts that pop up, and it's just like, okay, didn't want to think about that, but we're here. But it's okay to notice those thoughts and to let them pass through, because these thoughts are just automatic. But I didn't realize how disconnected I became from my body until I got off of social media. And a big thing that I realized was that I was just eating and living my life in the present moment. I ate when I was hungry. I took a nap if I was tired. I went for a walk if I felt anxious or overwhelmed or stressed out. I just was doing things in the present moment instead of reaching for my phone to give me that reassurance and validation and looking at what other people are doing. I just was doing it for myself and in my real life. I just felt so much more at peace once I got rid of the excess noise and just really listened to what my body needs instead of listening to what someone else is saying. But I do think it's really useful to, consume information on social media and what worked for someone, but what works for someone may not work for you or for anyone else. So bio individuality is very important in that sense, that everyone's different. Everybody's body needs different things. And when we're constantly consuming things, our body gets overwhelmed and our minds were just at capacity. Like, if we're constantly consuming food, then that can lead to a lot of other health issues. Consuming excess sugar, consuming excess alcohol, consuming excess social media, all of this constant consumption can lead to some really hard times, especially with your mental health and just your overall well being. And something that I really noticed during my social media detox was how present I became in my life. I became so present that I just noticed the little things. I noticed the ocean, the sound of the seagulls, the waves crashing in and out, the way the sand, the grittiness fell on my feet, the way the sun hit me, the way my skin got goosebumps from the warm sun. I wouldn't have really took a moment to notice all of those things if I just had my phone in my hand, if I was just scrolling. And it's really interesting because once you get more present, you see a lot of other people just with their head in their phones. And that's what we're all conditioned to do these days is to, oh, if I'm going for a walk, I'm just going to scroll. But what if you went for a walk and was actually looking at nature and this beautiful world that God has given us? And I feel like I was doing a disservice to God in a sense because I was like, you know what, God, I'm really not enjoying your creation you've given me. I'm just scrolling it away. And it's really interesting because you can see how much time that you spend on social media on your phone. And it's crazy if you add up all of those hours in a year. I think I got this app. It's called Refocus, and it was calculating the time that I spend on social media. And it said with the amount of time I spent, I would spend like 19 years of my life on my phone. And that was a huge wake up call. I was like, "Oh my god. I need to get off my phone a little bit more." Like that's really not healthy. 19 years. That's almost 2 decades spent on your phone. You know how much other things that you could do with your time? I mean, these days we could literally study 4 languages. You could build a business. You could get into the gym, get in better health, study something that you're so passionate about. Like there's so many other things. I mean, start crocheting, start sewing. There are just so many other things that we could be doing with our time than scrolling on social media. But why is that so hard? Because it is designed for constant stimulation and the dopamine. When you like a post, you get it's that color red, it's you get that red heart, it's that instant dopamine hit. Or the views that come in, or the likes and the followers, like all of it is just designed for you to just be stuck in this trap, and I've gotten stuck in that, but I'm telling you there's a way out of it, and you can control it. You can control it. And I know so many people, especially the Gen Z generation, because it's interesting. We grew up with social media, but not until later in our life. So I can't even imagine the kids now growing up with AI and a screen in their face from the moment they're born. It, it's kind of scary to think about that, quite honestly. And I wouldn't want to put a screen in my kid's face whenever I have kids someday. I just feel like that would just not go over well, and then they're constantly conditioned to keep wanting the dopamine and the stimulation. And we don't realize that stillness is medicine. When you sit in stillness, you receive all of the answers that you're searching for. And you realize that you can tap into the stillness at any time. The present moment never leaves us, but why are we always trying to escape it? And social media is something that is a really easy tool to do that with. And these days, we have to create time for stillness because our world is so inundated with noise and stimulation. We have to create the time for ourselves to sit in stillness. Even if it's just 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, where you're just sitting with yourself in stillness and just listening to the thoughts that are coming in. And I crave this more and more these days. And whenever I took a break off of social media, I realized how much calmer my nervous system felt. I didn't feel like I constantly needed to check things or get back to someone, or oh, I need to check how this is doing. Like I wasn't living in that constant state of fight or flight. Again, in our world, that's the epidemic. Our world is living in a constant state of fight or flight, and we are stressed out and maxed out 24/7. We're constantly busy. We have all these things on our to do list, we have all these plans, and yet we're not even creating 5 to 10 minutes for ourselves to just sit in stillness. Imagine if you just sat with yourself for just 5 minutes each day. What could just open up for you? It doesn't need to be a full week off of social media, but just creating, I like to call it these little micro moments of stillness within your day. And you can add these into your day, whether you work a 9 to 5 or not. Whether you sit in stillness in the morning for 5 minutes, or on your lunch break, you go to a park and you just sit on a park bench, and you're there with your thoughts. You're there with nature. And I just feel like there's so much less urgency when we disconnect from the phone. There's so much urgency to constantly keep doing more and more and more output, more doing, more this, more that. And when we come back to the basics, there there's no need to rush. There's no need to be so urgent. We only have so long on this physical realm and this earth. And I'm starting to realize how I want to spend my time here. And I really don't want to spend it just consuming things. And I think the opposite of consumption is creation. Creation is beautiful, and creation can lead to some very magical moments in your life because you're taking the time to connect with the present moment. You're taking time to connect with yourself and to connect with your inner world. Creation is just a reflection of your inner world. And what a beautiful thing to share with the world. And that could potentially help so many other people out there. And I think by consuming, we're doing a disservice to ourselves by not creating. And each one of us have our own voice, our own perspectives, our own different life experiences, and all of them are valuable. All of them are, because they're all unique. All of them are so perfectly unique in their own different way. So it's a disservice not to share that with the world, not to share your voice and your views and your perspectives. And I think that once you do that, consumption really is just not even something that you think about, because you just want to continue to create because it lights you up so much. It lights me up so much. I feel most like myself when I'm creating. I love creating content. I love creating content. I love just talking to the camera, just speaking my mind. I love making little bracelets. I love to paint. I love to make recipes. When you're creating, you're tapping into a different part of your brain as well. And that part of your brain isn't tapped into when you're just constantly consuming and scrolling things. There's a different part of your brain that you tap into when you just allow yourself to just be your authentic self, and to just allow what wants to come through. And that is that flow state. And I felt like I was in a flow state whenever I'm at the beach or the ocean. That is when I feel most like myself. Whenever I'm in nature, there's just something about nature that just opens up so much creativity and so much insight and so much inspiration that we do not get that when we are just sitting inside consuming, binge watching Netflix, consuming media on our phone, we're missing out on so much in life and nature. And nature truly is an incredible teacher, and it can teach us so many things to just flow with life. The seasons don't rush. Summer comes, and then fall comes, and then winter, and then spring, and the process repeats itself over and over again. Nature has a lot to teach us. And I also wanted to say that getting off my phone, it was kind of uncomfortable at times because I was so used to the stimulation and the constant checking that I was like, oh, I was so used to reaching and grabbing for my phone to check if I had a notification or something to get to that I could feel that urgency. It was like, oh, I need to do that. I need to check this. And so it took me a little bit to just kind of calm down and to realize you don't need to do that right now. We're taking a break. But it was habitual, it was automatic. So like I didn't realize how much I reached for my phone until I like forced myself to stop reaching for my phone in a sense. It's kind of crazy how much we're automatically thinking about it throughout our days. And honestly, sometimes I felt a little bit of FOMO. Like I felt like I was missing out on the world. But then when I came back on social media, I was like, no, it's still there. The internet's still there. It's not going away just because I took a break. It's okay. And people are still going to live their lives. The world is still going to turn round and round and round. You're not missing out on anything. I also think that app blockers, I do use an app blocker called Refocus. I think they can be incredibly helpful, but at times you can override them unless you pay for the paid version. It makes it a little bit harder. But I will say the app blockers have helped me immensely with that, but it is easy to just kind of blow past them. So I think it's very important to create pattern disruptors into your day. For example, I will literally just put my phone in a different room and put it in a drawer, and honestly I'll forget where I put it because I put it around my place in different areas, and I'm like, wait, where did I put my phone? Because I'm constantly putting it in different places, so I forget about it, which is a good thing, but also I forget about it. So I'm like, where did I put my phone? But creating those pattern disruptors to really remove the thing from your environment. And this can go with anything. It's not just your phone. This could be like unhealthy food as well. It's like if you have unhealthy food in your house and in your pantry, right in your line of vision, you're gonna reach for the cookies. But if you don't buy the cookies, then you can't reach and eat them, and then you don't have to worry about it if it's not in your environment. Same thing goes with your phone. If you don't have your phone in your environment, you can't it's not easily accessible. You can't reach for it. So creating those pattern disruptors. So app blockers are great, but I also definitely recommend putting your phone in a different place, in a different area where you can't see it at all. And I especially like doing this when I go to bed at night because it is, as we know, it can be really easy to scroll late at night. It can be really easy to scroll late at night or in the morning. And when you check your phone the first thing in the morning, then that cortisol is just hitting you in the face in the morning. You're like, oh, like then you're already like in fight or flight. The moment you check your phone and you're constantly in influx with all these notifications and stimuli in the morning, which just really isn't a great way to start the morning. So I really enjoy putting my phone in a different room and getting an alarm clock, just like a regular old analog alarm clock, and just have that go off. Or I have these lights, they're like, I forget what they're called, but like they're these Philips lights, and you can turn them on, and it turns on with the sunrise. And so that like it's bright enough that it will wake me up in the morning. And I really enjoy that as well. So I think there are so many other things that you can do to just remove the thing that is causing the upset out of your environment, because your environment shapes who you are. And if you have things in your environment that are causing you distress or upset or mental overwhelm, then I think it's very important to remove those things. Not that you have to get rid of them completely, but if you remove them out of your environment, it makes it so much easier to focus and to have a slower morning and to prioritize your nervous system instead of constantly having that stimulation on you. And I think the biggest part of all of this is awareness. Awareness is the birthplace of choice. My mentor taught me that. And I think that once you are aware of the behavior, then you can make a choice from that. It's like, okay, I'm going to go check my phone. I'm aware that I'm checking my phone, but now I can make a choice. I can make a choice whether I want to scroll, or I can make a choice and on if I want to put my phone into a different room and go for a walk outside. That is the choice. But it's really hard because awareness takes a lot of, I guess, willpower in the sense because it's habitual and scrolling is such a habit. Our fingers are so used to it. I don't even know the password on my phone because it's habitual. I'm so used to just typing in my password. I don't even know it anymore. And so it's habitual checking your phone and scrolling because it's just what you do. So when you become aware of the behavior and you can pause, the pause is so important. When you pause, you take a deep breath. You're like, okay, I don't need to scroll because I know what that's going to do. I know what that's going to do to me. I know that's going to affect my mental health, and I know I'm just not going to feel good. So I am going to choose differently this time. And I'm going to go read a book. I'm going to go sit in the sunshine. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to do something that feels nourishing to me. And that sounds simple, but it is not easy. And that's okay because we're all human beings living on this planet we called Earth. And it's okay, you're going to slip up a few times. Change is hard, but you can always choose differently again and again and again. And I just want to have a few takeaways for you from this episode. Whether this resonated with you in any way and you're like, "Okay, I seriously relate to everything you're saying and I really need to take a break from myself." And so if you're feeling this way, I totally recommend just you don't have to go a full 7 days off of social media, but I invite you to consider trying just a 24-hour technology detox from your week. So this looks like no screens. So no phone, no screens, no nothing. And that will help reset your dopamine. And quite honestly, it's a great way to experience childlike wonder again because you're not constantly consuming things. You're just enjoying the present moment and the little things. And that's how it was when we were kids. Like we would remember when the light would turn on at night and we'd be like, oh, like gotta go home. Like or a little flower or a fluffy bunny. Like that is childlike wonder. Or you can delete apps for an entire day. Maybe delete Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or something on off your phone that is causing you distress or upset. Maybe just delete the app off your phone for a day and see if that works. Another thing is just putting the phone in another room. Like I said before, putting the thing that's in your environment that is causing the upset and just putting it in another room. Put it in a drawer, put it something where you can't see it. That makes a huge difference. Another one that I really love is just going for a walk outside without headphones. I love music, don't get me wrong, but there is just something about going for a walk when you're not constantly listening to something. It can really help just calm your nervous system, and it can be very meditative as well. Just walking and noticing and just looking at a tree and looking at the beautiful leaves and the flowers and things like that. Another one could be journaling. What's coming up for you when you're feeling like you need to consume something or you're wanting to escape a certain feeling or emotion, journal it. Sometimes I do that where I'm just like, just not really feeling the greatest. And I just take my journal and I just dump everything that I'm thinking about. Just brain dump it into your journal. Just unleash it into your journal. And that can be really helpful as well. And also ask yourself, what am I avoiding by scrolling on my phone? Is there something that I'm feeling that I just am not wanting to confront at the moment? And that is the awareness piece. And from there, you can choose how you want to deal with the situation. Do I want to consume social media, or do I want to choose something that is going to be nourishing to me and that's going to help my overall well being? And I just want to leave you with a few pieces. Social media isn't inherently bad, and I think it can be an incredible tool. It is an amazing place where you can share an amazing message, but I think that the constant consumption can disconnect us from ourselves. It can disconnect us from our intuition. It can disconnect us from our peace and our connection with others as well. And we need moments of silence in our lives more than ever. So it's creating those micro moments of silence throughout your day. It's just chef's kiss. And honestly, life, when you just are experiencing life, it feels so much slower. And in that sense, it just feels fuller. A fast paced life is just, it doesn't feel as full because we're constantly chasing for the next thing. And it's just right now in this moment is never good enough. But when you realize that maybe this moment is enough and it is exactly where I need to be, and I don't need to constantly compare myself to other people. Maybe this life is okay to experience right now. And you just don't realize how loud the world is until you step away from it. It's a pretty noisy world these days, and I hope that you've taken away a few pieces from this. And if it inspires you, please know that you are not alone in this, and social media can be a really hard place to be, and you're not alone with feeling like that. And so if you need a break, just even 24 hours, then take it for yourself and do something that lights you up and just brings back that childlike wonder again, because that is just such a magical and a beautiful feeling to experience. And let me know what you notice on this journey through this 24-hour detox if you do take it. I would love to hear it. And I am just so glad that we're back at it again with the solo episodes. And I just am so grateful that you took the time out of your day to be here with me. And as always, I am sending so much peace and love your way. And I will see you in the next one. Take care.